So wonderful, good afternoon, dear LinkedIn community, JEC World exhibitors and visitors. We are here back on the Composites Lounge Corner Booth at JEC TV. Now I have with me a group of expert ladies here. Since this morning I'm talking to male experts and I thought now it's the time to have the ladies here. And to my left is Khusainova. She's the marketing director of PRF. Marcy Offner, she runs her own company, plus she has founded the Women in Composites movement, a great one, please join that. Katie Holmes from Fluency Business Group, she's the head of the International Composite Summit, as we can say. And then short notice, I asked also Melike Onay to join us. She comes from a carbon background, pultrusion background, and expert in business development also. Our topic today is a bit juicy in that we are not really focused now on the technicalities of carbon and glass fiber, but we will talk about the sales and marketing function. Hannah, my first question to you, and I will give you my microphone now. Hannah, what did you realize in the sales and marketing in the composites industry?
I think, Ilkay, we have a bit of a disconnect. So what we're really good at is innovation and technical expertise and the engineering. But what we have focused less on is how we are communicating that. We talk very much to each other and we are not so good at selling ourselves outside of the industry, making sure that the public know about this amazing industry that we're part of. So I'm part of a family business and it's 40 years old. And so I've done personally my little bit of research. There has been very little movement of public knowledge of composites since I was young and growing up in a composites business. And now I work in a composites business, and still there is very little understanding of what it is and what it does. And I think that if we aren't getting that to the public, then we are presenting ourselves, we're making problems that we have worse. We're making skills worse. We are not finding ourselves in end applications where we could really, really flourish because they don't know we exist. We are invisible in the world. And that's a real shame because we have so much to offer.
So Marcy, when you hear what Hannah says, now you are many years in this industry in different roles as a marketing expert now. Can you feel what she's saying? Can you agree with that?
I absolutely can feel what Hannah is talking about. First of all, the company that I spent the majority of my career at combined sales and marketing together. So we always worked in tandem and supported one another. And I think that attributed a lot to the success of Composites One and how they built the brand that they have in the industry. One thing that I totally agree with is that the composites industry overall has an issue with brand building. We don't know how to talk about what we do in such a way that those end-use markets are excited about composites. And I think the composites world itself has so many possibilities ahead of us that we need to figure out how to tie that brand out to the public, those end users, those people making products, so they understand all the great and glorious advantages that these products offer. But I think we need to get organizations like JEC and like ACMA to help us and provide the tools so we can go out there and brand our industry effectively.
Katie, coming to you from a lens of an agency, but prior to the agency, you have also from the Isle of Wight. This is the Isle of Composites, as we joke about it. You have also this industrial perspectives also. So when you hear this, let me ask you. I mean, there are reasons for this. One of the reasons may be lack of skills, lack of talent in this area, or just lack of focus. Can you add anything that causes this disconnect?
I think we are very much engineering led, and I do feel like we forget to tell the story sometimes. Obviously the data is very important, the technical data sheet proving our the materials work in the application. But I think we forget to communicate, as Marcy was saying, to the end user, and Hannah, really speaking to the end sectors, so the marine market, the automotive market, aerospace, and really showing them how we can solve the problem. What problem do they have and how can the composites industry solve that for them? Obviously, the technical information is required to back up and to prove it, but I do think there is a disconnect somewhere there that we're not necessarily communicating correctly, and there's so many channels, there's so many opportunities that we can use, and it's just trying to join. I think sometimes the sales and marketing functions don't always work that well together. I think sales and business development don't always see the value in marketing, don't see the long-term growth that marketing can achieve for their businesses. And it can sometimes feel like a lot of time is going to be taken to write that case study. And it's just finding ways to get this information out into the public and making sales and business development's jobs easier, us supporting them and finding a way to communicate with each other to get it out into the public domain.
So Melike, thanks for being short notice our panel guest here. Now our pre-live check revealed that you have also discovered this disconnect, and because you are from the carbon industry, carbon fibers and the pultrusion side, what did you see there? What is your explanation between sales and marketing from a business developmental sales? And maybe you can give us a proposal, what can be done to curate this or cure this situation?
First of all, its first approach is the market analysis can be true in this industry, because it's the important point of these materials. We know that salespeople always go to customer and sell the product, but in other side, in marketing, people prove that some data for the real market analysis. We sometimes we don't catch the real market analysis for our selling colleagues, and they want to some analyzing and listen to customer to their needs and tell us the customer needs figures. But in other hand, sales and marketing does not correct to work each other. Salespeople always complaining about the prices, products, technical data sheets like that. But in marketing team, marketing people generally prove that this data. But we don't understand clearly market size and customer needs. We need to focus on our customer with salespeople and go to sites more efficient on the site, and for example tell the customer and this product clearly and effective, and also technical background for these materials. I think it's most districts for sales and marketing people.
Thank you, Melike. Sales and marketing not go together to the customer and get the marketing, the feel, what's going on the site. Have you gone to customers? Have you visited customers so far? I bet you did.
I have, Ilkay. And I think that it gives a depth.
Yeah.
To a business meeting, especially when the marketer has immersed themselves into that company, into the product, and really believes in that brand and what it can bring to that customer. For me, again, because I have lived with my brand, it's perhaps easier. But I think that if you come into this industry as a marketer, you also need to come into this industry as a composites person. Yes. Embrace that, and then the storytelling, the depth, the richness of our industry starts to come across far better than just taking it as a surface level. I'm a marketer, but I'm not a composites person. No, if you work in this industry, you are a composites person.
Marcy, so you worked for a distributor and also for manufacturing, and now you are in association even. So you have different hats on, different lenses. Visiting customers for you, I guess, is also a standard. But do you see also differences between distributors, manufacturers, associations in getting in touch with the marketing and sales function?
Sure. I think that manufacturers and distributors and suppliers of composite materials deal with the same challenges in the sales and marketing area. Marketing is often seen as the support for sales, like, the others were saying. You need a technical data sheet. We got one for you. What I think really in the industry that we need to remember is that we're made up of small and large companies. In a large company like I once worked for, we had the ability to go out and travel with customers as marketers. We had the ability to sit down and have meetings and talk about how we build our brand, how we attract new industries. But smaller companies don't have the resources to do that. They have a goal to get business done each day, and that's what they do. I would like to see our industries step up, and associations like ACMA or SAMPI and organizations like JEC and CAMEX, and pull together a consortium of experts in our industry and talk about how we can start building our brand, and also how we can create some tools for all companies, small and large, that they can go out and use to talk to specifiers and engineers in those industries where we know growth can happen for composites. And I think until we do that, our branding in the composites industry will be a little stalled overall. I mean, some companies will be able to do it, but not all of them will be able to do it on their own.
Katie, this is a great pass to you. Now, I remember from our LinkedIn Live that you do communications like with press releases. If Marcy suggests the marketing function should be accelerated and get more skills, would then be your job superfluous? Or would you say this is actually a good thing because then we are more efficient together?
I think it's really positive. I've worked in a number of different companies in the advanced materials and advanced engineering sector for the last 20 years, small, large, and I think I've mentioned to you before, Ilkay, that you do find that marketing isn't necessarily particularly understood, marketing communications especially, and I do think that if we can upskill people within the businesses, it's only going to help the industry as a whole, and it's only going to help us continue to communicate. And I think there's not one channel that people should be using. We need to make sure that companies are giving out consistent messages and really, showing their brand off to its best. And really to achieve that, we need events like JEC, like ICS. We also need to be looking at press releases and working with JEC Composites, working with Composites World. There are so many, working with the associations, there's so many benefits to us all networking and educating each other and really upskilling.
Melike, let's come to you one more time with your background on carbon and the pultrusion. So you are more on the market and customer facing side. So you've been in constant touch with them. And you had a central marketing somewhere. So how did you feel and how did you cooperate? I'm asking because I think it's also a cultural question or a mindset question of sales and business development, supporting marketing or not. How did you handle this? Were you supportive, for example? I bet you were.
It's a difficult question, by the way. I think that we are always supporting sales and marketing, but we don't catch some points for the sales side. Sales always want something. It depends on the price basis. But in the marketing side, we create the value for customer. It's an important point. It's for this value, for example, your customer understand your product and your product efficiency. They didn't ask your price. But we clearly explain our customer this value, composite value, and our branding, and also part of this price and branding. We sell the brands, and this is also connect with our value.
Really, truly on point. I mean, what you ladies here explained, this is all really on point. Really fascinated about it. Creating sustainable value, and you brought the value now inside, and this is about it. Yeah, our customers want to see the value they are working with us. Yes, of course, cost and pricing is always a matter, but you are absolutely spot on with the value creation should stay in the forefront in the communication and in the marketing. I would like to change to a different angle. If you remember, Hannah, now with you being an example, now I'm really keen to know what you think. Should a marketing and communication expert be grown in the company, like Hannah did, or should he come from a maybe even totally unrelated industry? What would be your opinion? And it could be totally different. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, let's start with Hannah.
That's a difficult one, primarily because you don't want to shut out people who have skills that we could use. But I think there is value in growing up in the composites industry in your career. What I would probably say is we should be looking at skill sets and individuals to bring in, but making sure that, much like we talked about the relationships, so that they can take that identity on board, they can take that understanding on board, and they can be confident with their branding and their value propositions.
Yeah, Marcy, interesting stance that Hannah brings. We don't want to cut anyone out. So what's your experience in that? Homegrown or get external?
My experience is that you can't teach somebody how to be a marketer, but you can educate somebody on how to love composites. So it does all boil down to hiring the right person with the right skill sets. And as we know today, the marketing skills are changing all the time, right? We have artificial intelligence playing a role now, technology, video. There's all sorts of skills you need to have to be a really successful marketer. But you have to have a development plan for that marketer that brings them along with composites, brings them to workshops, takes them out with the salespeople, brings them to big shows like JEC, and allowing them to learn about composites. I have been in the composites industry my whole career, and I learn something new every day still. So I think as you hire, if you're lucky enough to find someone that's a marketer who knows composites, grab them. But if you're lucky enough to find a really good marketer who has a passion for learning, they will become a composites expert quickly and keep learning throughout their career.
Marcy, wonderful explanation. I couldn't say that even better. That brings me really into trouble for a follow-up with Katie. But Katie, so you are in the composites industry. How long, may I ask? 20 years, yeah. That doesn't reveal your age. Yeah, I can top that. I'm 33 years in that industry. But composites is, of course, that's also one point. Just to add that, I see composites as a very comprehensive term. Most people see composites as a thermoplast or thermoset. I see composites with elastomers, with ceramic and things like that. So for any marketer who wants to enter into composites is such a wide field. You got railway, you got aerospace, you got defense now coming strongly, sporting, medical. So you can then also decide and specialize. And just this panel before, we discussed the European market production output has dropped by 3%. Is a significant drop. And one of our conclusions was that we need also to look at niche markets. So if you are a marketer from a niche market, this would be an opportunity to create more demand, creative solutions. And particularly the younger generations, and I heard this many times, also from you yesterday, they have new fresh ideas that can be brought into this. And composites is always try and error is also possible. So we try things out, like this panel also today is a test which runs so far smoothly. Let's try and let's get into this industry. If you are homegrown, fine. Let's grab him, like you said. If you come from outside, then yeah. Then we are coming to our final round. Then I will start now with Katie. Katie, what do you think should people now do after they've listened and watched our panel here?
I think really they need to look at their marketing. They need to look and really focus on what they're trying to communicate, make sure that they've got a consistent message, look at how marketing is adding value and helping their company grow. At the end of the day, that's what marketing communications is trying to do, is trying to help the company grow. And as we were talking about adding value, it's just so important, and not just be seen as a support function, really see that we can be that next step for the company?
For the sales and marketing connection, for this other point of this, we teach our salespeople for our product side. We always some events for our sales team and technically improving background for our material. And also if we add some new material our product portfolio, we teach them and they understand and they more clear for their side and tell the customer this way. Our perspective to tell the customer.
Companies just need to start talking about what they do, share case studies. But I think one thing that we haven't touched on that's really important is that marketing has to start with every team member in the company. And when you hire a new person, you have to train them to be an ambassador for what you do. And that training and that culture has to keep being ingrained over and over again to every employee, from the shop floor worker to the president of the company. I think culture is a big part of marketing, and we have to remember to carry that through as well.
My call to action, I would like to echo Marcy's original points about organizations, the big organizations that kind of guide our ship. Mm-hmm. We are an industry of very, very varied company sizes. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's not right to put the entirety of the responsibility for marketing our industry on small companies that may not be able to resource marketing mm-hmm. themselves. So that would be number one. And with that, I think the entire industry has to find the value in marketing themselves, because if he doesn't see the value in it, the industry will not be able to communicate to find those new markets, to find those new end applications, and to find new people to come in and flourish with us.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Melike. My last call to action is the following, because I also spent my almost entire career in sales and pure sales. Since COVID, since the pandemic, that hit me hard, by the way, I went into communications and marketing. And I have to say, as a salesman, we tend to, I don't say laugh at marketing, but we don't take them so overly serious, because we have the reality of the market in front of us. For all the salesmen there, I've pivoted to marketing and communications myself. First of all, it's a great job, and I know a lot of successful people who did this. Sales without marketing is, in my view, impossible. Now you may say, okay, but I'm a salesman and I need to know the features and the benefits and the advantages, the cost and the price list. All good. But if you cannot touch your customer, so let's talk about emotions, for example. Yeah? And the number one emotion is safety in our industry. Strengths, reliability, reducing cost, reducing the risk of failure. These are communication practices, and each salesperson should know that anyway. This is your sales story. Thank you very much one more time. Do you have any questions among yourselves? If not, then I thank you so much for watching us. Follow these ladies, our full emotional expert level here. We had International Women's Day just this weekend. So I congratulate you all. Yes. Yeah. And let's keep doing this and have a diverse, but also on sales and marketing. Thank you so much.
Good. Be good.
Ilkay Ozkisolo, creating sustainable value with Composites 360 on tour. Now available on LinkedIn, YouTube, and your preferred audio podcast app.